Recently, Adobe asked me, representing School of Motion, to team up with Ryan Connolly, John Brandon Cruz, and director Valentina V to remotely collaborate on a short film to showcase Frame.io for Creative Cloud, and to make use of the awesome Camera to Cloud feature that you probably just got access to. Let's take a look. I'm Kyle Hamrick. I'm a motion designer and educator, and I'm creative director at School of Motion. I've been doing After Effects stuff for about 16 years, everything from explainer videos and live event visuals and a lot of tutorials, kind of everything in between. As Valentina, Ryan, and Cruz all led their respective shoots, we made extensive use of Camera to Cloud, especially to solve the challenge of setting up several match cuts being shot by two different teams. Being able to see footage almost immediately as it was being shot meant we could also begin post-production immediately, and made this entire process very smooth, both technically and creatively. Today we'll dive into my process for designing and animating the various graphics elements we needed for the project, and talk about how this whole team of talented folks worked together from across the country using Frame.io for Creative Cloud. First, let's take a look at what we created. It's a trailer for an imaginary film called The Box. Just a note that it is in the horror genre, so if it's too spooky for you, you can skip past it using the chapter markers.
And coins, jump. Ah, man. Pro gamer, I promise. Oh my God, Pandy312, thank you so much for the 200 gold. It's your P.O. Box Hall now. Actually, I did go to my P.O. box earlier today. Pandy, is this from you? Thank you. Yeah, let's do this. Pandy, thank you.
Hey, Carl, what are you doing? Get back in there.
Joanne's face, you know what she did today? She keeps ordering things again. I told her I can't, because I literally can't.
I know. Well, just forget about it. Let's shoot. Waiter! Okay, I'm gonna try to use the highway, okay? Straight in your back? Okay, all right, hold on. Andrea?
Yeah. Thanks.
Clean that up! How many times have I told you make a mess? What? Check up. Game point. Yo, run it back. I mean, if you want to keep losing. Ha ha. Very funny. Yo, is this your bag? Yo, you good?
I also highly recommend taking a few minutes to watch the full team's behind the scenes video to get a better idea of how we all worked together, remotely, to create this cinematic film trailer on a very short timeline from 3 different cities. I'll give you a second to pause and go watch that if you'd like. And now back to me. So I worked on some elements for the streamer scene. I actually created a video game for her to be playing, and I realized maybe I'll just make a playable one instead of trying to fake it, because I think it would actually be easier. And I needed to put that together enough that I could provide it for Cruz to use on his shoot so that the streamer actress would have something to react to. After going through the script, Valentina and I had decided that a retro-style platformer game would be fun here. And like I said, I guessed that it might actually be easier to just make a short playable level instead of trying to fake this game in After Effects. My son and I spent an afternoon outside a local art museum, and one of the sculptures turned out to be a perfect inspiration from where we were sitting. I made some sketches, and then he helped me come up with ideas for the actual game mechanics. I ended up using an open source game builder called GDevelop, which I found very intuitive and honestly not all that different from some of the expressions coding you can do inside After Effects. Evolving from those initial sketches I made, I used a combination of modified stock and open source art elements along with pieces I designed from scratch in Photoshop to fill out the world of the game, or at least the couple seconds of it that would actually need to exist on screen. I sent a few recorded game runs to Cruz before his shoot so the actress could time her reactions and dialogue appropriately. After her scene was shot, I worked on finishing the interface to make it all look cohesive. After doing a little style research, I designed a basic frame in Adobe Illustrator. I imported that into After Effects and converted it into shape layers for more editability. Then I started adding color, layer styles, and effects to make it look like a modern streamer's branding package, complete with a lively chat pod from her viewers. Since the tip is the thing that moves the plot along, we wanted to make sure it called a lot of attention to itself, so I made this kind of intentionally obnoxious animation to really make it super clear what was happening there. You might have noticed that we actually needed a few different layouts for this scene, when she's playing the game, when she goes full screen, and when we see her being viewed on Carl's phone in the kitchen. I ended up doing that tracking and compositing work as well, so Cruz could focus on the visual effects and the rest of the trailer. Using the built-in Mocha tracker by Boris FX, screen replacements like this are pretty straightforward. Once you have the track confirmed, then you can finish it up with the necessary effects and compositing work to help make everything look like it really belongs together. This whole scene really showcased the advantages of having a varied motion design skill set, not being afraid to try out new tools when it makes sense, and making sure to really communicate well with everyone on your team to make sure you're all on the same page. And then I also created a title card for the end of the trailer, which obviously needs to look cinematic and convey the vibe of the film, but also take cues from some of the other visuals that we saw in the trailer. You know, even before we started shooting, I started just putting together sketches for title treatments and stuff just to kind of figure out the vibe that we were going for. It was nice to be able to get that immediate feedback from Valentina on which title treatment was even worth continuing to put effort into. And I knew that I'd be taking cues from some of the stuff that Cruz made in the VFX before those existed. So I was kind of trying to leave room to incorporate all of those things as it started coming together. As I mentioned, I started out with very rough sketches, both on paper and the Adobe Design apps, just to knock out some ideas and get initial reactions from Valentina and the rest of the team. One of the references we really liked was the title treatment for the recent Dune film, which uses minimal and abstract symbols for the lettering, but is still clearly readable. I also had in my head one of my favorite title sequences from the 1979 film Alien, where the slow reveal of the different portions of the letter forms adds to the creepy atmosphere, and you're nearly 40 seconds in before you're even sure these are letters. Of course, I knew I would only have a few seconds to try to achieve that same feeling. We had just gotten our actual box prop at this point, so I had Valentina snap a few phone pictures and made a couple mock-ups incorporating that box into the title card. We determined we probably wouldn't have time for an additional shoot of the actual prop, so instead I opted to go with a more abstract route, tracing the carved pattern in Illustrator and setting that up as our main background layer in After Effects. After bouncing ideas back and forth on Frame.io, we decided on the right lettering layout. I started animating the pieces of the letter forms to create that mysterious reveal feeling I mentioned earlier. I also wanted to mimic that rough carved feel of the box design in the letters themselves, while also incorporating some of the more mystical flavor from the mysterious powers inside the box. So I created an effects stack using several instances of roughened edges, a little bit of displacement, and some waviness on the strokes themselves to give the letter forms this organic, creepy feel as the pieces slowly appeared. At this point, Valentina and Ryan's shoots had just happened, and Cruz quickly knocked out some initial VFX treatments and posted them to frame. I immediately honed in on the glowy energy look, the pink particles, and these creeping black tendrils that really helped give it a more threatening feeling. I wanted to bring a lot of that same vibe into the title, so I layered up several copies of my title animation, with each one using slightly different colors, displacements, glows, and shines, along with yet another copy using a slightly offset copy of itself as a track matte, to really emphasize the leading edges of the letter reveals. I used Trapcode Particular to mimic those pink particles from Cruz's shot, and good old Fractal Noise to create that creeping black background layer. After that, I finished it off with some additional camera movement, selective blur, optics, and a little chromatic aberration just to keep pushing that mysterious, unsettling vibe as far as I could. And finally, made sure everything was properly timed to the freshly finished score so it would all mesh together. Earlier in my career, I enrolled in School of Motion's Design Bootcamp course after realizing my design skills weren't where they needed to be. This course equipped me to make intentional design choices instead of just kind of trying things until they looked good enough. The quality of my work, not to mention the confidence boost it gave me, was a huge step. And there are actually course assignments for an esports promo and a horror movie title sequence, so it prepared me perfectly for working on the box. Several other School of Motion courses are also perfect for gaining the other skills you might need for a diverse project like this. From learning or improving your After Effects or design skills, learning more specialized and advanced techniques like compositing and expressions, or learning the best ways to concept and communicate through every step of a project, start to finish. At School of Motion, we're a fully remote team working on everything from short little YouTube tutorials to courses with dozens of hours of footage. And we use Frame.io on every single one of them, so that our team from all over the country has the speed and the scale to be able to knock all of these out quickly and effectively, being able to involve the right people at the right time in the process, and being able to collaborate more easily is just going to make that whole process smoother and make the end project that much stronger. Collaboration software is so helpful for a post-production person, whether you're doing VFX or compositing or graphics, everywhere from previs to that final delivery. I love the way that on frame you can be very specific with your feedback. You can, circle a thing and give a little note about why you like that thing or why you don't or how it can be changed. Being able to do all that almost in real time, it's great having a tool that makes it easy for everyone to just collaborate on everything at all stages. And just in case you didn't realize this, you now have Frame.io as part of your existing Creative Cloud subscription. You can easily get clear feedback from collaborators or clients and use it as a fast and secure way to share creative assets with your team all in one place. We're using Frame.io to make this video you're watching right now. And with the Frame.io panel in Premiere or After Effects, you can easily share work in progress and view comments and feedback connected directly to your timeline without even leaving the apps. Maybe the coolest feature, and one that you probably didn't have access to before, is Camera to Cloud. Using certain devices or even phone apps, your footage can be automatically uploaded directly to Frame.io immediately after it's shot. This is actually my first production using C2C, and it was really cool seeing the clips roll in real time as they were being shot, and seeing Valentina comment on them, asking for a little tweak, watching match cuts between Valentina's shoot and Ryan's shoot come together and prove, yes, this works perfectly, this one needs a little adjustment. As primarily a post-production person, just being able to be more included in the actual production is really huge. Folks like me always kind of dread that fix it in post attitude, and even if you can't be on set physically, you can give notes, you can give feedback. Just being able to have that immediate access to the footage and not waiting a day or two until oops, it's too late to fix this thing. And so now, rather than fixing it in post, you can fix it in production. I hope you enjoyed hearing a bit about my creative process and how this super talented team was able to leverage Adobe tools, Frame.io, and Camera to Cloud to work seamlessly, both technically and creatively, no matter where we were located. I've personally been using Frame.io for years already, both for clients and collaborators, and now that it's part of your existing Creative Cloud subscription, there's no reason you shouldn't be using it too. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for even more design, animation, and workflow tips. Head over to schoolofmotion.com to learn more about our interactive online curriculum, and let our team know if you have any questions at all. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.